Have you ever picked up a coin that seemed ordinary at first glance, only to discover it was hiding a fascinating story? Imagine opening an old family drawer, sorting through a handful of forgotten coins, and finding a large Eisenhower dollar from 1978. Most people would probably toss it aside, without a second thought. After all, it's just a dollar coin, right? But what if that coin represented the end of an era? What if it marked the final chapter of one of America's most recognizable large dollar designs? And what if some examples were worth far more than their face value to collectors today? The story of the 1978 Eisenhower dollar begins long before the coin itself was struck. In the early 1970s, the United States wanted to honor President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a military leader and former president whose influence helped shape modern American history. The result was the Eisenhower dollar, often called the Ike Dollar by collectors. It was a bold, large coin that immediately stood out from other circulating money. For several years, Americans could find these hefty dollar coins in circulation, although many people found them too large and inconvenient for everyday use. Still, they carried a unique presence. Holding one felt different. It had weight. It had character. It felt like a coin from another generation. And that's exactly what makes the 1978 issue so interesting. You see, 1978 wasn't just another year in the Eisenhower Dollar series. It was the final year, the last chapter, the closing act before the United States transitioned to a smaller dollar coin design. That alone gives the 1978 Eisenhower Dollar a special place in American coin history. Now here's where things become even more interesting. Millions of 1978 Eisenhower dollars were produced, which means most examples are not rare in the traditional sense. But experienced collectors know something that casual observers often miss. In coin collecting, value isn't always about the year alone. Condition can completely change the story. Think about it this way. Two people could own the exact same 1978 Eisenhower dollar. One might be worth only a small premium above face value, while another could attract
serious collector attention simply
because it survived in exceptional condition. How does that happen? The answer lies in preservation. Many Eisenhower dollars entered circulation and picked up scratches, contact marks, and wear. Large coins tend to bump into one another during handling, leaving noticeable marks on the surface. Finding a 1978 example with strong luster, clean fields, and minimal distractions can be surprisingly difficult. And that's where collectors start paying attention. A coin that spent decades protected in a collection can look dramatically different from one that circulated through cash registers and bank vaults. When grading services evaluate these coins, even small differences in quality can create major differences in collector demand. But condition isn't the only thing that keeps people searching. Collectors also examine mint marks very carefully. The 1978 Eisenhower dollar was produced at different United States mint facilities. Coins from Philadelphia carried no mint mark, while Denver issues featured a D mint mark. In addition, proof versions were produced specifically for collectors, offering sharper details and mirror-like surfaces. At first glance, these versions may appear similar, yet dedicated collectors often spend years comparing strike quality, surface preservation, and eye appeal in hopes of finding superior examples. And here's a surprising fact that many new collectors don't realize. Because 1978 was the final year of the series, some collectors focus on building complete Eisenhower dollar sets. When someone is trying to complete a collection, even a common date can become highly desirable if they need that final piece. The psychology of collecting plays a powerful role in market demand. Think about the excitement of completing a puzzle. The final piece often feels more important than all the others combined. Coin collectors experience a similar feeling when completing a set, and the 1978 issue often represents the ending point of the Eisenhower dollar journey. Now imagine a realistic discovery scenario. A family is cleaning out a home after many years. Inside an old desk drawer sits a small box containing loose change, old receipts, and several large dollar coins. Most people might assume they're simply old dollars with little significance. But one family member becomes curious. They notice the date, 1978. A quick search reveals that this was the final year of the Eisenhower Dollar series. That discovery leads them deeper into the world of coin collecting. They begin examining mint marks, studying condition, and learning how grading works. Suddenly, what looked like an ordinary coin becomes a gateway into American history. Stories like this happen more often than many people realize. And that's one reason the Eisenhower dollar continues to attract attention decades after production ended. Another factor is its connection to a unique period in U.S. coinage. The 1970s represented a time of transition. Coin designs were evolving, collecting was growing in popularity, and the United States Mint was adapting to changing public preferences. The 1978 Eisenhower dollar stands right at that crossroads, serving as a final snapshot of the large dollar era before a new direction emerged. Of course, it's important to keep expectations realistic. Not every 1978 Eisenhower dollar is valuable, and collectors should always be cautious about exaggerated claims they may see online. The true value of any coin depends on factors such as condition, authenticity, market demand, and collector interest at a given time. Some circulated examples trade for modest amounts, while exceptionally preserved pieces, proof examples, or professionally graded coins can attract stronger premiums from collectors. That's why careful evaluation matters. The most successful collectors don't chase unrealistic promises. They focus on learning, researching, and understanding what makes one coin different from another. And perhaps that's the most fascinating part of the hobby. A coin isn't just metal. It's a time capsule. Every scratch tells a story. Every preserved detail connects us to a specific moment in history. Every collector sees something slightly different when they hold the same piece. The 1978 Eisenhower dollar may have been the final issue of its series, but its story is still being written today by collectors, historians, and everyday people who continue discovering these coins in collections, estate sales, and family keepsakes across America. So the next time you come across a large Eisenhower dollar, don't rush past it. Take a closer look. Check the date. Examine the mint mark. Notice the condition. You might not be holding a fortune, but you could be holding an important piece of American numismatic history. And sometimes, that's what makes the discovery worthwhile.